So that right there says visitor parking. Only violators will be towed at vehicle owner's expense.
Gotta go places and do things.
So that sign behind me right here that I was just showing you guys is actually something that was just put up, and I've lived in this neighborhood for like 10 years now and have finally seen this sign go up. Now what's really interesting about this is this right behind me over here, there actually used to be 1, 2, 3 cars that used to park over here. Now you would think that this kind of a sign would have gone up a lot sooner, right? Well, the reality of things is that it has taken 10 years to put the sign up, and the reason I'm making this video is not to be a rant, but really be more of raising awareness around the fact that there needs to be more process and protocol of things. One of the really interesting things about this is that I have seen so many tenants in this neighborhood over the span of the last 10 years that I've parked in this visitor parking back here. And what's really disturbing about this is that, you know, it's reserved really just for visitors, and tenants are occupying the space back here, and it just creates a hodgepodge. What's really actually funny is that right behind that sign there actually used to be a stand-up one right in the front that would say that same message. It was the same identical sign, but someone actually took those 2 signs down, and now those 2 signs have taken place of those that were standing up right over there. Okay, so it's probably safe to say that over the span of 10 years, we've had our share of problems with homeowners associations. I don't know where to start, honestly, from pool problems to architectural problems with the property and a leak and all kinds of things that have happened over the span of 10 years. And the reason why I wanted to raise awareness around the fact that, well, there should have been a sign for visitor parking a long time ago is because it's a lack of attention. At first, I thought that was maybe, you know, it was just me being a little crazy, wondering, well, maybe it's just our homeowners association, right? Maybe they are the only ones. Maybe this is just me. But the reality of things, after doing a little bit of research and also talking to other townhome owners, come to the realization that, no, we are not the only ones. In fact, every freaking homeowners association seems to have a set of dilemmas that they're dealing with. You know, their tenants, their occupants that live in those subdivisions are literally frustrated with the management aspect of those properties. And so the intent behind this video to show you guys, first of all, that, well, I think, you know, the display of the signs is just the first step, I think, to taking action, changing the environment and setting in place, you know, a process and a protocol. But this is something that should have been done a long time ago. You know, this is something that should have been done years ago. And I'm actually excited that the Homeowners Association actually is now finally, at last, actually taking steps to improve the actual environment, the surroundings of the subdivision. Because I gotta tell you guys, it's extremely frustrating, you know, when especially having guests come and visit and that guest parking is already occupied, and the 2 cars that I previously showed you, those are probably tenants, most likely. It's just most tenants tend to park there when they're not supposed to, because it's intended to be for visitor parking, because for the sake of accessibility. They just don't want to park in their own garage. They don't want to park in their own driveway, because these townhome style condominiums actually do have driveways and do have garages. However, a good amount of the tenants actually park in visitor parking simply because it's accessible to their home, or, you know, they just don't want to take the extra time, you know, to realize that it's actually a courtesy for visitors, for friends, for family that might be coming over to see them, as opposed to actually parking in those spots and just occupying them. Now, one of the most frustrating things for me was this, that in the earlier days, like right in the middle where I showed you guys where those two cars were parked, right in the middle, which is where the walkway is that goes up those steps, that is where a third car would actually park. So I'm sitting here thinking, oh my God, the level of ignorance someone would go to actually block a walking path by parking their car in a not designated space, in a restricted space technically, because that is the walkway in between those two cars, the way those steps go down. So I just want to talk about that a little bit because, you know, this is something that has really frustrated me, but I'm also feeling somewhat encouraged to see that the association has taken steps to improve the surroundings and also take action to put some process and protocol in place.